So how does the brand new Launchpad X stack up against a machine or a PreSonus Atom or maybe even that brand new Launchpad Mini? In other words, does this thing disturb the natural pecking order in finger drumming land? That's the question I would like to answer for you today, and I'm also going to give 2 of these away. So let's go. The quest for groove. In case you're curious about the giveaway, I'm going to talk about that soon. Let's first talk real quick about the Launchpad X. Is this thing a game changer? Does it change the pecking order in finger drumming land? Well, the answer to that question is a resounding yes. This thing actually changes the game on multiple fronts. The first front is pad sensitivity. I compared this thing to my top tier device, my big Machine Mark III. I don't know if you saw the videos that I did about that, but I consider that one in terms of pad sensitivity to be one of the best devices, together with Akai MPC Live, maybe the Ableton Push 2. Those were the 3 top tier devices, and you had to pay for that top tier quality because they're all like $600 and up, right? Akai MPC Live costs even a lot more than $1,000. Sure, you get a lot of extra functionality with that, but if you talk about pad sensitivity, if you wanted the best pads, you just had to get a top tier device with all kinds of extra functionality just to get those great pads. And that changed because this device costs only $200 or around $200, which makes it cheaper than the budget machine, right? The Machine Micro Mark III. And the pads are just as good as any of the top tier devices that I played. They might be even a little bit better, dare I say. So that's pretty game changing on 2 fronts, price point and pad sensitivity. And that's not all, because with the release of the Launchpad X, Novation actually fixed the most annoying problem with their Launchpad line, which was that you could not change the value of the notes. You could not create your own pad layouts. Well, there were some ways, but they were a bit complex. And now Novation just has an editor on your computer, plug the thing in, you can set up a custom pad layout, drag any color, any note, anything to any pad on this device, and it just works. Total creative freedom. I really like it that Novation now lets artists just think for themselves, lets them use this thing the way they see fit. I'm not done talking about it because now that we know the benefits of this thing, right? Great pad sensitivity, great price point, and customizability of the pads, we have to ask ourselves, is this like the only thing you should ever buy and forget about all the other pad controllers? But yeah, to be honest, things just got a lot more complicated all of a sudden, because it used to be that you had these 8x8 controllers like the Ableton Push 2 and the Novation Launchpad Pro that were not as good or not as good value for money as some of the 4x4 controllers. So the advice would always be, if you really want 8x8, get an 8x8, but otherwise just get a 4x4 because that's good or that's fine and don't worry about it. And now we have this great value for money, cheap controller that also has some of the best pads in the business, and that just happens to be an 8x8 controller. So that sort of muddies the waters, because now the advice cannot just be only get an 8x8 if you want it. You might just want to get great pads for a great price, then this might just be your best option. And sticking with a 4x4 or moving to a 4x4 will depend on external factors that are not related to pad sensitivity, playability, and customizability of the pads. There's other factors that might now sway you to still not go and buy this thing. For example, you like the ecosystem of Machine, you like the ecosystem of Akai MPC, you like the standalone capabilities of an Akai MPC Live, or when I'm playing on my Machine Mark III, 4x4 pads, I can just play with my eyes closed. I know where the snares are, I know where the hi-hats are, I know where the toms are. And because it's not that many pads and because they're big, it's pretty easy to relax, close your eyes, and just jam along. And if I would try something like that with the Launchpad X, even if I just set up a 4x4 grid, just like my machine, it's a lot harder to do, just simply because the pads are smaller, and that will never go away. You have to be more accurate, and smart ass solutions like saying, I'm just going to put the same sound on 4 pads and create these big 4x4 blocks, right? As if you have a 4x4 controller. That stuff doesn't work because you get a lot of double note triggering, and the pads are actually too big if you do that. So I tried all that type of stuff to see if I could basically mimic a 4x4 controller with this thing, but I can't. That's why I really hope that Novation maybe one day will release a 4x4 or a 5x5 a controller like this with bigger pads, because that would mean that for me personally, I'm done. I would literally buy 2 of those, and I would buy 2 of these, and I would have my comfortable large pad controller, and I would have this little bit of a glam rock thing where I could set up huge drum kits, and I would sort of use them side by side, because for pad sensitivity and price, regardless of the pad size or the amount of pads, this is just the best thing you can get. Which brings me to its little brother, the Novation. I dropped it. It's fine. It's fine, guys. It's fine. It's fine. Not to worry. Which brings me to its little brother, the Novation Launchpad Mini. And the reason I cannot recommend this thing specifically for finger drumming is because it doesn't have touch sensitivity, so velocity sensitivity. So there's little buttons, and the buttons are actually buttons. They're not pads. If you press them, they click. You have this little feedback, which is nice for knowing that you're pressing a button, but it's not the same thing as a pad controller where you can play realistic drums on. It also has all this customizability, all the stuff that the Launchpad X also has. But yeah, if you cannot play dynamic drums on it, for me personally, that makes it a lot less attractive. Bottom line, Novation is just objectively doing a great job right now. And they're not only doing a great job, they're also very kind, because they're giving away 2 of their Launchpad X'es. One of them goes to one of my patrons, and the other one goes to anybody who might be watching and who is interested. All you have to do is sign up before the deadline. I'm going to put that 1 week from now, which is Tuesday, November 5, 2019. So that's the deadline. By the end of that day in Amsterdam time, I'm going to draw a lucky winner. All you have to do is go to questforgroove.com/launchpadx, sign up with your name and your email address. I'm not going to use it to send you any marketing. I'm just going to use it to let you know that you won and get your information. That's all. Also, I don't want anything in return. No reciprocity, as they say. Are they saying that? I'm not sure, but that's a word, I think. No reciprocity. I'm just very happy that I can give this back to all of you, because yeah, I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers. I'm starting to become a real influencer, at least I feel that way, and I'm glad I can do something in return. Here's another video. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, like everything, blah, 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 blah. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.